Welcome back to Mastering Yourself. Today we're exploring a kind of power that almost nobody talks about because you can't hear it. Silence. Why is it that sometimes not speaking is the highest form of mastery? In a noisy world, silence can feel uncomfortable, even wrong. We rush to fill every gap with words, opinions, or reactions. But spiritual traditions, from yoga to theosophy to mystical Christianity and Buddhism, have all said the same thing. Be still and know. It's in stillness, not in noise, that we meet our deepest self. Today we'll talk about why silence is so powerful, the difference between reacting and responding, how practicing silence can transform your relationships, your decisions, and your inner life. In yoga philosophy, the mind is often compared to a lake. When the surface is disturbed by wind, waves, storms, you can't see what's at the bottom. In the same way, when our mind is constantly agitated by thoughts, emotions, and compulsive talking, we can't see clearly. Silence is like allowing the water to become still. There's a beautiful idea in yogic and theosophical teachings. Truth is always present, but the mind must become quiet enough to perceive it. Another simple line from yogic wisdom says, yoga is the stilling of the fluctuations of the mind. Notice, it doesn't say yoga is the perfect explanation or yoga is the best argument. It says stilling the mind. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is space. The space where insight, intuition, and real understanding can arise. Now, let's bring this down to everyday life. Think about the last time someone said something that triggered you. Maybe they criticized you, maybe they made a sarcastic comment, maybe they questioned your values or your work. What happened inside you? Usually it goes like this. Stimulus. Someone says or does something. Emotion. A surge of anger, hurt, fear, or defensiveness. Reaction. We fire back with words. We argue, defend, attack, or shut down. This is reacting. Fast, automatic, and usually driven by our ego and old conditioning. But silence introduces something new between those steps. A conscious pause. When we choose to be silent, even for a few seconds, we create a gap between the stimulus and our action. In that gap, we can actually feel what's happening inside. Notice, I'm hurt. I'm angry. I feel disrespected. Ask, what do I really want to create in this situation? This is the beginning of responding instead of reacting. Responding means we are aware of our emotions, but not controlled by them. We choose words that serve the situation, not just our wounded pride. Sometimes we choose no words at all, and that itself is powerful. Silence is not weakness. Silence can be the moment where you take your power back from your conditioning. So why is not speaking sometimes the highest mastery? Because it breaks the automatic pattern. Most of us are on verbal autopilot. We feel something, we blurt it out. Mastery begins when you are no longer a slave to that impulse. Because silence protects what is sacred inside you. Not every thought, opinion, or feeling needs to be shared. In many yogic and mystical teachings, it's said that certain inner experiences lose their power when they are thrown into casual conversation. Silence becomes a way of guarding your inner life. Because silence can be the most powerful statement. Imagine an argument where one person becomes louder, harsher, more aggressive. The other person stays calm, present, and mostly silent, only speaking when necessary and without escalation. Which one feels more powerful? True power does not need to shout. Because silence connects you to a deeper intelligence. When you don't rush to speak, you might suddenly see the situation from a different angle, with compassion, clarity, or even humor. This is the quiet guidance that many spiritual traditions point to, the voice beneath the mental noise. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is not send the text, not clap back, not prove your point. That's not suppression. It's conscious restraint. It's you choosing alignment over ego. Let's make this practical. How can you start mastering silence in your daily life? 1. The 3-breath rule. Before you reply to something emotionally charged, whether it's in person or online, pause and take 3 slow breaths. Inhale, exhale. 3 times. Ask yourself, do I want to react or do I want to respond? 2. Silent listening. In your next conversation, especially with someone you disagree with, practice listening without interrupting. Notice the urge to jump in, to correct, to defend. Just observe it and stay silent a little longer. You'll notice that people often reveal much more when we stop filling the space. 3. Daily mini silence. Set aside 5 minutes a day with no phone, no music, no distractions. Just sit, breathe, and allow thoughts to come and go without chasing them. This is like training a muscle. Over time, silence becomes less threatening and more nourishing. 4. Chosen non-response. Not every message, comment, or provocation deserves your energy. Ask, if I say nothing here, what happens? You may find that many battles dissolve on their own. That's not avoidance. It's choosing where your life force goes. In a world obsessed with noise, choosing silence is a radical act of self-mastery. Silence doesn't mean passivity. It means presence. It means you are aware enough to pause, to feel, and then to choose. So the next time you feel triggered, remember this. Between what happens to you and what you do next, there is a space. In that space lies your power. If you're ready to deepen your practice of inner mastery, start with something simple today. 1 moment of conscious silence. If this video spoke to you, support the channel by liking, subscribing, and sharing it with someone who needs this reminder. This is mastering yourself. Thank you for watching, and may you discover the power in your own silence.